there any need for you to get bigger, or you?
I mean, it's always better to get stronger. Obviously, in the type of game that we play, everybody's getting stronger every single day, and it kind of helps me become more explosive, allows me to be able to further my game, to be able to run a little bit faster, to be able to increase my stamina, just little stuff like that.
Tyler, last year you came in before camp and you said that you want to make sure everybody knows that you're not just a return guy, you're a receiver. You really worked on that. Obviously, you had a fantastic season last year. What kind of is your approach going in now this year after that kind of season?
I think this year is just continue to be yourself. That was the biggest thing. Like, ever since I left Kansas State, that's the one thing that I always tried to focus on. But I also learned that everything is about timing. Sometimes you think you could be able to come right away and be able to make a difference. And, the truth of the reality is you probably can, but it's all about being able to understand your role in a position that each team wants you to be able to be at. And that's what allows you to be successful. So when I ended up coming to the Seahawks, obviously I got put in a great situation because they wanted me to be the return man and to be able to play receiver. And it's like, we're not going to hold you back. So whatever you could do at receiver, we want to be able to exploit that and allow everybody to be able to see it as well. And so I got the best of both worlds, because a lot of teams are like, we want you to be a third down receiver. We want you to be able to play special teams, but that's it. But they allowed me to be able to do the same thing I've done at Kansas State. And last year, they just allowed myself to be able to have an increased role and to be able to see what I could do with it. And that's exactly what I did. And so it's almost learning about being faithful over the little things. The more that you're faithful over the little things, when it's your time to be able to receive more, you're prepared to be able to grow into that.
What's you miss without Doug Baldwin here, and how's your role changed without him?
Everything. Obviously, he was a great person, tremendous person on and off the field. Always went to his house every now and then as a receiver group just to be able to get to know him, celebrate him and his family, and just to be able to get to know him off the field and just to be able to have his presence. I think that's the biggest thing that's going to be missed. It's kind of hard whenever you've always had a vet that was able to teach you the ropes, allow you to be able to learn the ins and out on how to be successful on the field and off the field and how to carry yourself in the type of world that we live in, just, different stuff like that. And so just being able not to have that every single day is going to be hard. It's very hard to be able to transition, but each and every day and each and every year something new happens. And because of him taking a new journey to do the things that he wanted to be able to do, it's time for me to be able to step up and try to fulfill the role that I'm called to be in this year.
How unnatural or uncomfortable or maybe comfortable is that change?
I think it's all about how you approach it. Obviously, it could be very uncomfortable, but every situation is uncomfortable whenever you haven't experienced before, and that's basically what growth is. It's something that you got to get accustomed to. People who have kids, they never was ready to be real dads. You can prepare and you can do everything that you can, but until you finally get that kid in front of you, it's a learning experience, and it's something that you learn each and every day. And that's kind of how I view this approach when it comes to leadership, when it comes to growing as a man and growing as a player. Every single day something new is going to be able to happen, and so I have to be able to approach it in a way of just being able to go with the flow. And that's kind of the way that I've just been trying to develop my mindset, is go with the flow. Don't expect too little, don't expect too much. See what presents itself in front of you and then respond doingly.
Approaching leadership this year, is that something you've talked to Doug about? How to approach this year kind of without him, or kind of his example of kind of how to go about it? Is that?
No, I think the biggest thing that I learned when it comes to Doug is you have to be yourself. And I have to be able to understand who I am as a leader and what I bring to the team as a leader. And the things that he brought, I was able to learn from that, and I was able to see that. But he also taught me how to be myself, because if I can't be myself, everybody else won't be able to accept the message that I'm trying to allow them to be able to receive. So I have to be able to speak from a willing heart. I have to be able to speak genuinely, allowing to meet everybody where they're at. You can't really speak to somebody in a place where they can't understand it. So I have to almost become in the same place that they're at to be able to drag them or reel them to what it is that we're trying to accomplish.
Can you tell us about the visitors you had here?
Yeah, so one of the things that I'm doing is I'm doing like a little job shadow / internship with a lot of the businesses that endorse me. So it's being able to bring a lot of kids out of my hometown to be able to see what life is like somewhere else, and to be able to see what their life could look like. Obviously, when I was in Oklahoma, I never knew what Seattle looked like, never even knew anything about it, to be honest. I never been to California until I signed with my agency. And so the thing that I did have that a lot of people didn't have in my hometown was exposure. With my dad being able to play with the Chiefs, playing with the Jaguars, the Redskins, the Jets, I was able to have a chance to be able to go see what life was like everywhere else. And that's where I seen teenagers driving Maseratis, little stuff like that. And I was able to bring some of my friends, too, to go see my dad in Kansas City. And, you know, Overland Park's a rich area, so they get to see what life is like. So when we came back to Tulsa, we had motivation. We had reason to be able to go do stuff. And so that's basically what I'm trying to do, is get kids in high school that have a chance to be able to do great things, not only in sports, but also just in life, who may not have money to be able to get out of the States and see what life is like. We're giving them exposure by a lot of the companies. So whether I'm with a company that's in New York, 2 kids from Tulsa get to go to New York, see what that's like for about 3 or 4 days. Whether I'm still here, they get to go to Virginia Mason, who I'm with, see what life is like there, and so on and so on. And so that's kind of the things that I'm doing, and it's teaming up with my Light It Up Foundation.
Tyler, I saw you working with DK a little bit. I guess what are kind of your early impressions of, of him and, what kind of player he could be?
No, I like him. I like him a lot. Obviously, each and every day he's getting real comfortable, being able to understand the offense. That's the biggest thing whenever you're coming in as a rookie, is understanding terminology and understanding some of the things that you can do, some things you can't do. The biggest thing that I like is the fact that he's being himself, he's playing his game, and he's using his tools and the things that his God-given talent to be able to be successful and get himself open. There's a lot of things that I want to be able to teach him that'll be able to help him further his game, just in the fact of being able to understand that he could use his speed as a weapon. So that's just some of the stuff I was talking to him about, is knowing how to set people up with your speed. They already respect your speed. They already respect your strength and your toughness. And so being able to start playing chess games out there is going to allow him to be able to be one of the best receivers.
Do you think he already has in his toolbox coming in here, like from line of scrimmage stuff and releases and all of those sorts of things, technical stuff?
I think he has a lot. I think he's way above what people from the outside probably expected him to be. The way that he does a lot of his releases, he changes it up every single day. You're going against a defense where people know, okay, if he does this every single day, I know how to be able to approach it. But some days he changes up the way that he approaches his aggressiveness. Sometimes he's aggressive. Sometimes he slows it up. Sometimes he uses his hands. 2 days later, he doesn't use his hands, and people are off guard when it comes to being able to guard him. And so I think in being able to bring his approach to the game and how he sets people up, I already think he's doing great at that. Now it's just being able to understand, all right, what option are you? Because based off of what option you are allows you to be able to add in other stuff into your game.
Do you anticipate having to play in the slot at all anymore with Doug not being around anymore? Or?
I'm just ready for whatever. I played on the outside my first 4 years. I've been playing in the slot every now and then when we put Doug on the outside. So for me, it's all about just being able to further my game wherever I'm at. Wherever I'm at, it's all about trying to get open or get other people open, and that's what it's all about. A lot of people, some people in the league, they only know how to play one position, and to me, that's the fastest way to be out. And so I want to be able to master every single thing. So whether it's me on the outside, I'm going against the biggest DB in the world, I want to make sure I maximize that opportunity. When I'm in the slot, maximize that opportunity. If they put me at running back and give me a sweep or something, make sure I do that. If special teams, do that. The biggest thing that I was taught growing up, it's all about value. And the more that you could be able to do, the harder it is for people to get rid of you. And that's just anything in life. They'll rather have somebody who can do it all than somebody who can do one thing, because then you got to pay somebody to do the other things you can't do. And so whatever it is that I can do, I'm going to make sure I focus on that, master that craft, and then just put it in their hands and see what happens.
What do you think of the changes to the PI rule?
I haven't watched football since we lost, so I don't know anything.
They're now able to review it whether or not it was called on the field.
Every play looks like a pass interference, so it's just going to be hard for them to determine, okay, did he do this, did he do that? DBs hold, receivers push off sometimes. It's just part of the game. But as long as everybody still gets 2 challenges, as long as they throw it, if it's false, they only got 1 more left. I think the biggest thing is they're just going to have to pick and choose what's worth challenging and what's not worth challenging. Obviously, sometimes they might challenge something and it was their last challenge. They don't have any more. Then a real call happens to where they wish they had it back. So, it's just going to go on when a coach feels like it's time to be able to throw it and when not to.
Hey, do you still want to return kicks as much as ever this year? And the reason I ask is you're looked at as being the #1 receiver now.
Yeah, I want to do everything. everything that I could possibly do, whatever that is. At Kansas State, I did all that and went on punt. So I'm not doing everything here. That's how I look at it.
With the new role as that number one receiver, or more veteran receiver, is there any added pressure of you coming into this season? Do you feel the pressure?
I think it's all about perception. It's all about how you view it. I talked about how my role increased, and everybody might have said that I was a number 2 receiver. Could y'all agree? But I got more targets when I was a number 3 than I did last year. So to me, it doesn't really matter what you're seen as if you're number 1, number 2. It's all about what you do whenever you're out there on the field. And to me, that's what it's all about. If I'm in a position to be able to make plays, that's what I'm going to be able to do. I've learned when I was in college how to protect myself. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes you have freak accidents, like when I broke my leg. But other times, it's like the Torrey Holt thing. It's like the Isaac Bruce thing. You catch the ball, get what you can get down, live to fight another play. You don't have to take a hit if you don't need to. Get up, go another play. It's all about durability, and it's all about being able to do what you can while you're on the field and while you're playing. So that's the approach that I take. Last year, I really didn't get hit that much, and I was in a lot. And so that's just one of the things I try to work on is knowing what hits to take, what hits not to take. If it's 3rd and long and I got to go get it, I'm probably going to get hit. But if it's 1st and 10 and I get a good play, I'm probably going to fall.
I think Russ had a perfect passer rating thrown to you last year. How has that relationship evolved, and how do you guys build off that?
Yeah, I think a way to be able to build off that is now being able to work on being uncomfortable. Obviously, we were very comfortable in the roles, in the positions that we were in last year, and we allowed ourselves to be successful. But now some of those things that we haven't really done together that we're, working on, which some routes I haven't really got to run like that because I wasn't in the slot as much. Now it's being able to go off of that. And so it's, for me, just being able to work on that. And even though at the beginning when you do something and you're not used to it, it feels uncomfortable. But in order to get comfortable, in order to get consistent with it, you got to do it over and over and over. So now it's being able to get those tougher throws, to be able to get in those positions where it's harder to make catches. So now I'm being able to try to continue to grow daily.
Carroll's talked a little bit about using Russell Wilson's ability to go downfield more often this year. Are you expecting to have more vertical plays?
Whatever the play is called, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I have no control over what play is called or what it is that I have to do, but whatever it is that they want me to do, that's what I'm willing to do. If I got to block, then I'll make sure I go block, especially if my block is crucial. If I got to go run a 5-yard route, 10-yard route, 20-yard route, I'm going to figure out what it is that I need to do to set the defender up so I can be able to get open and put Russ in the best situation to be able to throw a completion.
You just mentioned wanting to be uncomfortable. What is so different about what you might be doing now that would lead you to have to be uncomfortable?
Just different types of routes. Like I said, obviously I went in the slot a lot during practice, so me going in the slot, you have just different types of route, whether you're running across the middle, whether you're running just shallow, or whether you're running deeper, whatever the case may be, you're going against different types of defenders. Sometimes you get doubled, sometimes you get bracketed, sometimes it's harder to be able to see the defense whenever you're in the slot because you're used to playing the outside. It's easy to see the whole field. So being able to just understand how to approach my whole entire game in the slot while I'm in there allows me to be able to further my game, because now I have to pick up on what the defense is doing quicker. I have to pick up on different ways to run slot routes quicker. I already know how to run routes on the outside. I already know how to get open when I'm going against skinnier defenders, longer defenders, quicker defenders, faster defenders. Now I got to be able to work on that when I'm in the slot. Routes in the slot is way different than running routes on the outside. You got to use different releases. You can be able to do a little more free will type stuff, but you got different places that you have to be at a particular amount of time. So me being able to learn all that type of stuff just allows me to further my game. So when we get into camp, I've already mastered slot and I already know what it's like to be on the outside. Now I just took my game to another level.
Where are you with that?
You said where am I?
On that process.
I think I'm getting better each and every day. Obviously, there's some things that I do. I might do a release and I'm like, that's not going to work for that. But I think the biggest thing is as long as I have a plan, which each and every day I'm developing different types of plans, understanding different ways to run different routes, seeing if it works in practice. And some of the routes I did today worked in practice. So that's something that I put into my tool belt and continue to do other stuff that I want to try out. It's the best time to be able to try it out right now while you're in OTAs, because when camp goes around, whatever's in that tool belt is the very thing that's going to be shown.
After
after the year you had. It's nice to see JD back out here.
Oh, yeah. JD's one of my best friends, so it's nice to be able to see him out there. Nice to be able to see him practicing. Ran past one of the linebackers today whenever he caught the pass, and it just shows how fast he is. We got to get our touchdown celebrations back right because I forgot our handshake. But, I mean, we haven't done it in so long to where we kind of got to work on it. But just being able to see him back out here, being able to see his energy and what he brings to the field, it's amazing. I'm glad to be able to have him back.
Anything else for Tyler?
Yeah, with working with DK and Keenan today after practice, was that something you suggested? Did they ask for that?
Oh, no. It was just something like when you have something to say, it's better to say it. Like, what would I be if I just kept something that could help somebody else? You know, like, that's not what life is about, and that's not what I want to be about. If I have any type of advice, they could take the meat and throw away the bones, whatever the case is. They could pick and choose what they want to listen to. But if I have something that I think that could be able to help somebody be successful, I want to be able to kind of help them use that. They might not even use it, but at least I said it. And as long as I said it, I feel better about myself. And if I do see them use it, then, hey, I help further somebody's game. But at the end of the day, I don't want to be that person who has something to say that can help take somebody to the next level, and I hold it just because I'm being selfish. I don't want to be that.
Tyler,
you and Russell,
go ahead, Art.
When you and Russell dial up a deep ball, is there much conversation, pre-play, post-play about how things are going to work? I mean, what kind of dialogue do you guys have?
Nah, I mean, obviously he tells me kind of like what he's thinking when we run the play. I line up, and then he trusts that I'm going to be able to run it. I kind of picture what a defense is looking like, how I'm about to be able to run this route. I know how much time we have, whether it's a play action, whether it's a drop back, to be able to get myself open. But after that, the biggest thing I've learned is putting myself in position to be able to make the play that I want to be able to make. So if I want to be able to jump for it, I got to be able to get the DB in a position that I want him to be in. If I want to be able to run past him, I got to be able to put him in a position to where I can run past him. If I want to set him up to where I'm catching it over my shoulder, I got to be able to do that same thing. So I've been learning what I need to do to be able to set people up to catch the ball how I want to catch it. And as long as I can catch it how I want to catch it, then I'm going to be comfortable catching deep passes.
Tyler, you mentioned that you hadn't watched football since the end of your season. Is that something you typically do to just kind of, I guess, recharge to, prime yourself with off-season, or is that kind of...
Yeah, I mean, I just never watched football. Like, I mean, when I was in college, I watched people that I knew, that played, but I never really watched football. I just never been like that ever since I was in high school neither. I just do what I'm supposed to do, and then when I'm outside of it, I'm kind of in the now. So whatever it is that I'm doing, wherever it's at, that's what I'm focusing on, that's what I'm doing. And it was just all about doing whatever it is that I want to do. So, like, I watch a lot of HGTV, I watch a lot of TV shows, watch a lot of movies, different stuff like that, because I have a lot of things that I like to do outside of this, but it allows me to be able to come back and be refreshed, and I know what it is I need to do to be able to be the best on the field. And I know how much I need to watch and how much I don't need to watch, and I watch enough that I need to be able to watch to be able to get me to go out here and to be able to play at my best. So I just know myself, and because I know that, I can come out here and play better and play comfortable.
Shotty said JB did a lot of the dirty work last year. What does that mean for the receivers? What's the dirty work?
I mean, dirty work, just whatever it takes. Anything that we needed him to be able to do, that's exactly what he did. Whether it was blocking, whether it was getting the DNs, whether it was getting the linebackers, whatever the dirty work consisted of, in their terminology, that's what they needed him to be able to do. And so a lot of people didn't really get to see the JB that we know that he can be. And if you guys have been watching in the OTAs that y'all have been invited to, you've been able to see him make a lot of great plays that he's been making. And so we know what he can do. We know what he's capable of. And now he's finally getting a chance to be able to go out there, showcase his abilities and what he can do, and the very reason why we brought him on this team in the first place.
Thanks, Tyler. He's got to go, guys.
All right,
thank you,
Tyler.
Thanks, Tyler.